Panoramic F-Series or Expedition sunroof, the shade will only come halfway closed. Now I've got the glass out of this, but I'm going to show you how to get it fully closed if your sunroof is broken and you don't want to maybe fix it, or you can't fix it yet, but you still want the shade closed. All right, look. Okay, it stops halfway, but I'm pushing the button. It won't come any farther. All right, why won't it come any farther? It's because the motor has not reached the fully closed position. And I'm talking about the front glass motor has not reached the fully closed position. And until it gets there, this shade will not shut farther than halfway. If you've ever noticed, if you go to vent it or open it, and your shade is shut, the first thing it does is open the shade halfway, and then it moves the glass. Reason why is this shade's kind of, it's not really held on super tight. If you had it shut and were able to open the glass, it would blow your shade loose and it would be torn up. So how do you get it shut when your sunroof is broken and the motor thinks it is not fully in the closed position? All right, well, it's not too bad. You have my video, which I'll link, on how to manually align these guides when you're doing a repair to it. And that involves dropping the headliner and dropping that motor, which I've already done. All right, so I happen to know, I moved to the back. I happen to know that this sunroof was partially stuck in the vented position, tilted up in the back, and it wasn't fully closed. The guides were out of alignment, and I've dropped this motor and lined the guides up. But how do we get the shade to shut in the meantime? Well, it's not too bad. You drop this. I've already dropped the motor in order to move the guides, right? So all you do now is turn the key on, and that motor runs on a timer. It doesn't run until it feels a physical stop. And it says, oh, the window can't go any farther, so I'll just stop running. It doesn't work like that. When you program it or initialize it, it does that. It runs it all the way up to a physical stop, kind of makes a little crunchy sound, and then it runs it all the way back to another physical stop. And then it knows by its programming that it can run a certain amount of time and be almost to that physical stop, but not quite there. And that's how it runs. So it knows that if it runs, however many, like a second and a half, it's vented, another second and a half the other way, it's back closed, and maybe, 2 or 3 seconds, however long it takes to open it, it knows it's open. And the same thing with closing. So right now it's loose and it's not going to turn the glass. We want this motor to think that it is closed. Right now it thinks it's vented. So I'm going to hit the close button. And watch this, it's gonna run for a second or so, watch. All right, you saw it jump, you saw it turn. All right, that's how long it takes to think it's vented to closed. All right, now watch. I'm gonna hit close for this. There you go. Now it thinks it's closed, so it will safely close the shade. And there you go. If your sunroof is disabled and not working, you can at least get your shade closed without too terrible much trouble. And then the thing to do now is to reinstall the motor, and that will lock the sunroof from ever moving again. And honestly, if your sunroof is broken and you're not going to fix it, or you're not going to fix it right now, or can't afford it, or you're going to get rid of the truck and you just don't want it to accidentally get opened again, the thing to do is to put the motor back in place and then unplug it, and then it won't move. Now, the only catch to that whole situation is the shade won't work either. They are in a circuit together. So if you unplug either motor, the other function will not work either. So that's, if you want this shade shut, get it shut, then disable it, because neither of them are going to work once one of them is disabled. So, and I've done this many times when people just say, hey, I can't afford to fix it, but I sure would like it shut and disabled. Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. And so can you. If you don't want to fix yours, if you've got a ton of miles on it and you just say, hey, I just want to get it shut and disable it and not mess with this sunroof again, well, this is how you do it. Manually get it shut into the closed position, get your shade closed, and put that motor back in place and unplug it, and you won't have to worry about somebody reaching up there and going, hey, let's open the sunroof, and crunch, and you're stuck open again, and you got the same problem all over again. So there you go. Questions, comments. That's how you do it. Let me know.